Hi there, C.Note here. I want to give a little update on this channel and what to expect going forward. For me, straightforwardly, I don't really want to be on camera. so, uh, probably not going to be on camera going forward. Or if I do, it's going to be like once a month. So, my plan, what I want to do is, first of all, thank you to all and any loyal followers. This is not an invitation to unsubscribe. There will be more videos, but they'll be more likely coming more sporadically or once a month in promotion of and in service to, with value given, of course, to my Substack. It's DOPEamine.substack.com, DOPEamine.substack.com. And there I'll be doing regular content, deep dives into personality related stuff, mental health related stuff. I've got a couple different sections on there. One is called The Mood, that is about mental health. One is called Personality Strategy. That's very clearly about personality types and how we can use that to navigate the world. One is also called The Spiral, which is going to be about, spiral development and understanding human development not only over history but over for ourselves as individuals. And then the last one I'm going to be adding is right now it's called Fascinations, but it might be the Optimist, and it's sort of a futurism newsletter, highlighting these different projects and ideas that are happening in the world. Because right now I feel like it's really easy to be cynical, it's really easy to be doom and gloom and uncertain because there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of mimetic energy being played out that a lot of people don't know what to do with, right? So what I want to support and provide is a little bit of optimism. The word opt, the root word of opt, means choice or vision. And it's really just showing that there are choices out there. There are projects being worked on. There are ideas. There are things happening that can provide some sense of optimism, that there is choice, that there is a vision we can create and cast for the future and for ourselves as individuals. Little things like vocation jobs opening up for Gen Z, for people younger than 25 that are not falling into the trap that us millennials fell into around the idealism we were fed around college, and all of that's getting sorted with student loan relief and all of that stuff. But for younger people to not get caught up in that, there's opportunity emerging for them to be a part of vocation jobs and getting their hands dirty and showing up. And that provides a sense of meaning and purpose, which is wonderful, right? And then DOPEamine, the main feed, is still going to be kind of more of the philosophy, existential stuff. How are we navigating life and living and able to deal with things like, I'm reading a book called Staring at the Sun, which I can reach hopefully without messing up. This is a book about existential psychology. It's really wonderful, and it's primarily about death anxiety. And I'm realizing how pervasive death anxiety is in my life, and something I want to talk about a little bit more. So that's something that would come through that. Beautiful thing about Substack is that I could do long form audios, which is what I prefer to do anyway. I'm a little insecure about the fact that I'm not really shaved right now. You could see a little bit of my unibrow. I don't look great. And I could put a little more care into that before coming on to the video stuff. But ultimately, I'm in a place where I do want to do more audio and provide more long-form deep dives. So one of those examples is I'm going to do a stages model deep dive, which is a developmental model that is helpful to understand person perspective. Like when we're a baby, we have first person perspective. We can only see what's in front of us. We have no sense of time, no sense of space. It's just we're completely receptive, and there's a lot of stuff that comes from that and certain shadows that we can carry forward if we didn't have a great experience as a baby. And then second person perspective is when you start to make friends and you have to think, oh, someone else is thinking. Someone else has a perspective. Someone else has a way of, someone else has an opinion of me. It's like when kids get to middle school, suddenly they're like, everyone's thinking about me. It's like this, it's almost like the Professor Xavier or the psychic that's there's so many loud voices, right? Like it's like this new perspective opens up. And then third and fourth and fifth perspective and so on is what I'm going to deep dive and explain. I'm also working on a deep dive surrounding deep dive. I also want to do a long form explanation around a model I've been working on relative to personality type health. So cognitive functions and assessing with certain words to contemplate levels of health. It's really simple. It's 3 for each cognitive function, but there are ways to assess if, if and when and in what context you might be bringing an unhealthier energy versus a healthier energy to a situation, or how you can start to bring some creativity into the fold to be able to move through it and move out of it and stuff like that, right? So I think that's going to be really helpful, and I'm pretty excited to bring that to you. And some of these deep dives are going to be premium, so I'm changing the price. It's going to be $5 a month, accessible, super easy, but it's something that will allow me to keep doing this. And one of the things that, as an INTP, especially some of you, plenty of you are also fellow INTPs, you understand that the desire is to research and provide some sense of care through my patterning, what I'm seeing. So that's what I'm providing through Substack, is not only with mental health, but through the spiral and through personality strategy, and then some of the philosophy, existential stuff, some of the spirituality aspects. And I see spirituality, for the record, as a study of the self. So it is existential. It's part of the philosophy side of things. And then there's some unique insights that I provide as someone who has navigated life through atheism, which I think for INTPs has, it's not something where I'm like a devout atheist and I'm like running around complaining and whatever. Like I have such massive respect for religion and religious people, and like how much of a service that provides humanity. But it also has been like playing life on hard mode. It's a really difficult life to navigate that. And there are some principles, some notions, some ideas that I have carried with me through that, through my life experience, that has helped me to, frankly, not wither into the weight of nothingness, right? And in a way, it's like it all lands on the same stuff. You could call it God, you could call it the universe, you could call it nothing, like whatever it is. I think for a lot of people, when you get to a certain place, it's like it's all kind of the same stuff. But it also has given me the tools to question even that, right? To keep questioning myself in a healthy way. And for me, atheism was about questioning authority. It was a questioning people's integrity. It was questioning my own integrity and my own philosophies and such like that. And I think that does provide value for some people who very much need it. And some of this is really like, I'd considered changing my Substack to writings for the future. It's like, I know that there are a lot of people today that are not going to listen to what I have to say, but people are pretty locked into their values. And we're in a world where mechanistically social media is about talking at each other, not necessarily with each other, which is ironic given that it's called social media. So what I want to provide on Substack is also the opportunity to like have conversations with each other. I'm only allowing for people who are paid subscribers to leave comments. So if you're part of the ecosystem, we can have conversations together, lend to the philosophy with each other, and be able to, influence what I'm sharing, and hopefully get some insights for yourself as well. That's what I hope to provide. But then stuff for people to be able to see down the line. These concentrated areas like Substack, or these, people who have websites or particular communities, it provides an opportunity to encapsulate all of this stuff into almost like a time capsule for the future. Right now, I don't know how long YouTube's going to last. I don't know how long these different social media platforms are going to last. I don't even know how long Substack's going to last, but I trust that it's going to last a long time. Even then, it's like I'm collecting the archive of videos and stuff, and it's like, how does this translate to projects that will carry into the future? And one thing I got from this book, the Staring at the Sun book, is that the work that I want to do is more so about the ripple effects of my work. And my work has been inner. And that's a challenge because I'm very much in a ecosystem, in a city, in a place that really values external work. Being a part of charities, being a part of, you know, uh, trying to change the world in an external way. And I don't necessarily want to do a saviorism thing. I'm not trying to save specific people, though if I can, great. But the idea is that it's about creating a ripple effect of thought. And ultimately, it's me as an INTP stewarding introverted thinking as to help people with how to think, not what to think. There's too much of what to think and what to feel, right? I don't want to tell you what to think or what to feel. I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. I'm going to tell you what I'm feeling. But it's to encourage you to have your own thoughts and have your own feelings and have your own philosophies and have your own approach that you can steward and take into the future. So this book gives me the idea of rippling, which is it's really about how I impact life. It's not necessarily about my remembrance or necessarily that I'm going to be the person, all statues crumble, right? All paintings are taken down eventually or burned. It's not something where I'm worried about me being remembered into the future, but that there's this concept of like multi-generational thinking. I want my kids or my son to be able to look at the work that I've done and get something from it. I want to have people who feel like they're parentless or people who feel like they don't have a guide, a teacher, a mentor, a priest, someone who has gone through what they've gone through. In the case specifically for me with atheism or with navigating these philosophies through personality types, or being someone who like feels almost orphaned politically or orphaned societally. There's a lot of lonely people out there, and it's lonely because and that loneliness fuels this desire to just give in to whatever, right? There are so many options for what you could quote unquote submit to or be a part of that at some point you just kind of submit to anyone. And I think that's the other danger, is that right now there are a lot of young people who are very susceptible to ideological influence. It's a time of influence, influencers, social media, all of that stuff, right? And while, again, I'm not here to necessarily capture specific people and try to rally them for my own thing, I think there is an opportunity that if people are needing support, I'm going to provide the support that I can because I trust my ethos and I trust that I can support and help in ways that aren't going to be exploitative, right? So the $5 a month is like just a reasonable, if I'm going to keep doing this work, I need to make a living from it. So $5 is probably not the way to do that, but it's the way to make it accessible for you to get value out of this. So, I'm doing other things, but my hope is that I can do more of this because I love the philosophy side of things. I love sharing my ideas. I love sharing, helping particularly INTPs with how to think. I see a lot of INTPs on like Facebook groups and stuff like that, unconsciously sharing thoughts and ideas that have come from somewhere else. Now, all of our thoughts kind of come from somewhere else. It's all a remix, right? But there is not a lot of encouragement to say like, no, think about it just a little bit more. Question yourself. Ask yourself a tough question. Is that real for you? And are you willing to go in there and, change your entire thought process? Are you willing to change your paradigm? Not from a specific thing to a specific thing, but whatever your thing is to whatever the new thing is, right? It's like, it's the matrix, it's the scaffolding, it's the ones and zeros. The extroverted feeling, the belief systems are all of the unhealthy stuff sometimes, where someone's trying to make you believe a certain thing because it makes them feel comfortable, and it makes them feel like they belong, and it makes them feel like they're not crazy. And after a while, it's tiring to question yourself. So you do have to pick some stuff. I have values. I have things that I stand for. I have principles. That's what I mean. You're going to have yours. You have your life experience. You have your cultural experience. You have your traumas and things to untangle, right? You have your own healings. You have your own achievements. You have your own things to let go. And that's a whole process. And that's a very personal process. So I do eventually want this to translate into like personality-based existential coaching. If it comes to that, you can leave that in the comments on Substack and we can figure out how that's going to work together. But the idea right now is to just invite you over to Substack, DOPEamine.substack.com, DOPEamine.substack.com. I hope you have a sense through this video what I stand for and what I'm bringing to the table, which is both the extroverted intuition parenting in terms of trying to bring simplified concepts to the table, ways to understand things in an accessible way, but then also some of the technical deep dive that, would be from an introverted thinking person to not insult your intelligence, right? So it's the ability to have nuanced conversations. It's the ability to question without insulting each other. It's kind of a respite from the general zeitgeist and all of the vague arguments about stuff, and to frankly forge your own path forward. It doesn't have to be through me, but it's an invitation for you to start doing that. And if this resonates with you, it could be through joining Substack and being a part of what I'm bringing to the table, or at least bringing up something for you to say, like, you know what, maybe I should be a part of something. Maybe I should join a community or a group or something that's like outside of the general wilderness of the social sphere of people, and people that I don't resonate with, right? There's an importance to resonance, especially for INTPs, that and frankly, you don't have to be an INTP to join me on this, but I have spoken mostly to INTPs on this channel, that being around healthy energy, to being around calm energy, to be able to think clearly and focus is more important than ever for an INTP to not just get riled up and caught up in the swirl just to feel like you belong. There are ways to belong that also respects your intelligence. There are ways to belong that also allows you to question things. There are ways to belong that also allow for you to be yourself. And by being yourself, it's like you are perfect as you are, and you can develop, you can grow, you can improve, you can refine your thought process, you can refine, emotional connection, you can heal, you can, it's not about, it's not that toxic, like, take me as I am, I'm never going to change, right? Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, there's an acceptance process to who you are as a person. And then from there, you get the opportunity to expand, if that makes sense. So I think that covers it. That's everything that I think is going forward on this channel. So I invite you that if you're sitting and you're just subscribing and you're hoping that YouTube pays me, that's not the case. YouTube doesn't pay shit. If you do support me and have supported my work, I encourage you to come over to substack.com. The church bells are ringing. It's time for me to stop. There's a church like right next to the, right, basically across the lot from me. And it reminds me that it's noon. And I always forget that I shouldn't be recording videos when that's about to happen. But I appreciate you. Even if this is the last place that we talk and you unsubscribe for some reason, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. You could stay subscribed and watch the monthly videos if you want. And if you want something more from me and you really appreciated my presence, my energy, my voice, my thoughts, my philosophies, my ideas, my story, please come over to DOPEamine.substack.com. Consider joining the $5 a month premium subscription so we can talk in the comments. and you can get some of the deeper dive conversations, and we can go from there. So I appreciate you. My name is Christian Rivera, aka C.Note, and I'll see you in Substack. See ya.